To you, it is going to feel so much like fall. We only have a few official days of summer left, but it's not going to feel like it at all. It's very warm out there now, but cooler air arrives for Saturday, and you'll notice extra clouds too. So that's really going to make it feel extra chilly at times, and that wind is blowing. But during the day on Sunday, it is going to be absolutely gorgeous. And of course, we're watching the tropics. Oh my goodness, look at this. Tropical storm Beta. Now we're in the second letter of the alphabet. Breaking news, brand new tropical storm has developed, and it looks like it's going to be heading into Texas and likely moving into areas just north of Corpus Christi as a tropical storm. I tell you, 2020, I just can't even keep up. We're going to be keeping you posted on the tropics as well as our beautiful forecast for this weekend. But first, let's go to Chris. I know it's hard to keep up with traffic too.
Yeah, I've been busy for sure. Whitehorse Road at Augusta Road, 85 south at exit 53. Also following accidents on Whitehorse at Eastbourne, Whitehorse at Blue Ridge, and Lawrence Road at Ackley Road. And we're also looking in Spartanburg County. You have 4 accidents that have been working now about the last hour. An accident on 85 south at exit 57 has been moved to the shoulder of the roadway. Traffic there is moving without any delays so far this afternoon. Cody.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. Talking COVID-19, cases continue to rise worldwide, and now with more than 30 million cases around the world. That's according to Johns Hopkins University. More than half of those are from 3 countries, and we're one of them, including India and Brazil. The U.S. has the highest count with more than 6 million cases and more than 197,000 deaths, followed by India at more than 5 million infections and more than 83,000 fatalities. Brazil behind at third with more than 4 million cases and 134,000 deaths. The European Union has signed a contract to purchase 300 million doses of the potential COVID-19 vaccine. In a statement, the European Commission announced the deal is part of the commitment to ensure access to safe, effective, and affordable vaccines. It's the second contract signed by the European Union after agreeing to a deal with that pharmaceutical company. Well, we may be getting more tricks than treats this year for Halloween. Even with more than a month to go, many annual festivities have already been put on hold. Jackie Ibanez tells us what the holiday might look like with a pandemic and what the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is recommending.
It's definitely going to be scarier than usual. Halloween this year is scary.
Scary if it happens at all. Like many traditions in 2020, Halloween may be canceled because of the pandemic. Crowds of kids, communal candy bowls, big costume parades, all things that are difficult to maintain in the world of social distancing.
It'd be a little disappointing, but it's better than people getting hurt by COVID.
Some areas are already nixing festivities. Salem, Massachusetts is canceling its annual parade and scaling back other events. Los Angeles County has issued a formal recommendation against door-to-door trick-or-treating and is banning Halloween parties altogether. New York's governor advises against trick-or-treating but says he will not ban it. If you are able to go out this year, health experts suggest wearing a mask and not just one that matches your costume.
It has to be a mask that actually prevents the droplets from coming from the mouth. So even if you have a plastic mask with a mouth hole in it, you're going to need a mask underneath it.
The CDC is recommending some areas go trick-or-treating in reverse, having the kids dress up on their front lawns so neighbors can walk by and deliver candy. And of course, make sure to wash your hands before indulging.
You want it to be ultra safe. Sanitize some of the candy wrappers and eat that on the day of and the day after.
A canceled Halloween would also be bad news for the economy. Americans spent an estimated $9 billion on the holiday in 2018. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
The 5 o'clock news starts now.
Honoring this fallen hero today, how the community in Western North Carolina and law enforcement across the country are honoring fallen deputy Ryan Hendricks in Henderson County. And finally, the rain has cleared out. A beautiful afternoon. This is a live look at Lake Hartwell down in Anderson County here at 5 o'clock. Good afternoon, I'm Cody Alcorn, and we are remembering the life of that fallen hero today. We carried his funeral service online. We've been following his procession from the church to his final resting spot. That right there is the deputy, a detective, a SWAT team member, and a former Marine. He is a father of 2 small children, and he was set to be married in less than a month, October 17th. His pastor today said it was heartbreaking. He had to stop planning for his wedding ceremony and begin to plan for his funeral. He was killed in the line of duty on September 10th there in Henderson County. And hundreds stopped what they were doing today, brought out their American flags, the blue line flags, and they honored this deputy and showed their appreciation not only for his family, but for law enforcement in general.
As a friend, you knew you had your support from him. I could call him anytime and he would be there no matter what. Pray for their family and just know that they need to take it one day at a time. God has a purpose, and he got 1 in a million when he got Ryan.
The funeral was inside Mud Creek Baptist Church there in Hendersonville. It was packed. It was closed to the public, but every pew was filled with law enforcement officers and Ryan's closest friends and, of course, his family. And a lot of folks got up to talk. His family, his boss, that's the chief there, or the sheriff, I should say, Sheriff Griffin, all talking about this man who loved what he did every single day. The sheriff describing him as only he could, as a rock star.
Lastly, Ryan Phillip Hendricks, thank you. The life you lived to the fullest showed us your strength of character, your call to duty, your dedication to fatherhood, your living out the Christian principle of Micah 6:8, to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Like St. Paul, you too have fought a good fight.
Ryan, you have won at life's competition. Yes, life on earth has been cut far too short. However, you have accomplished more in your 34 years than the rest of us could hope for in 100. You left us all with a multitude of fond memories, a life of inspiration, and a very, 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 very long list of accomplishments for me to live up to. Thank you, Ryan, for being you, because you are a saint. You're my hero, and I love you.
And of course, his family very strong to be able to get up there and talk about Ryan just a few days after he was killed. Deputy Hendricks, there is his casket there on top of that Valley Falls Fire Department truck there, Valley Hill, I should say, being guarded by fellow firefighters and deputies as it made its way to Forest Lawn Cemetery, where a graveside service is underway. And this is a look at a flyover for Deputy Hendricks. That is the Greenville County Sheriff's Office helicopter, honoring their fellow brother in blue. Our crew said literally every upstate law enforcement agency had a vehicle in that procession that lasted for miles. And again, Deputy Hendricks now in his final resting spot at Forest Lawn Cemetery. Our own Carrie Weimer's been following this. She was outside the church. The service was closed to the public and the media, but she was close enough. She saw hundreds of law enforcement walk in. And Carrie, I'll tell you, you never want to be there for this, but it also is a reality check for many of us to show just how honored these law enforcement officers are to call each other a brother and sister in blue.
That's right, Cody. You know, it's a terrible experience, but it is something that does make you stop and think, especially when you get to see the bond that law enforcement has. All the people that came here from states away, several counties, all different agencies representing the love that they have for their brother in blue. It's really something that gives you chills, kind of makes you step back for a moment and think about how important our relationships are. Take a look at some video we shot earlier today. This is from the funeral services here at Mud Creek Baptist Church. It was so quiet outside while we were waiting that you could hear a pin drop. That was the atmosphere outside the church as Deputy Ryan Hendricks was taken to begin his final ride. Not a word was spoken as the Greenville County Sheriff's Office helicopter flew by, giving a full uniform salute. And while the crowd outside was mostly law enforcement, before the funeral service, community members showed up and we got to talk to them.
I hope God is with them and gives them a lot of support, okay? And the community too, for them, for the family, the little kids.
I think people don't always know what to do for families in situations like this, but I hope that just knowing the volume of people that are coming out to support will give them some kind of comfort.
Now, different people that we spoke to today that left the service said Deputy Hendricks is going to be missed very much in this community. They say they're going to remember the way he connected with people and his kind and generous spirit. Now, we know that Deputy Hendricks will be laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park. Cody?
Carrie, thanks so much. And you can watch more of our coverage right now at foxcarolina.com inside our Fox Carolina News app. And we'll have continuing coverage tonight on the 10 o'clock news. Well, speaking of continuing coverage, we have been watching radar for the last 48 hours. Of course, Sally made landfall earlier this week as a Category 2 and made its way across Georgia and the Carolinas, bringing us quite a bit of rain yesterday. Caused some issues on the roadways as well, but no issues out there this afternoon, Kendra. In the weekend and the next really 7 days, I got a sneak peek earlier, looking pretty good. I mean, it's almost fall-like around here.
We had enough rain yesterday to, last us for a little while. Anywhere from 1 to 5 inches of rain fell, and now we're looking at a dry stretch. And as Cody mentioned, fall is coming. It doesn't feel like it right now, though. 81 in Greenville, 72 in Asheville. That cooler air is working its way in. So for the next few hours, temperatures will fall into the low 60s in the upstate, so a touch of cool in the air tomorrow morning with some clouds overnight. In fact, clouds will linger into a good chunk of your Saturday. In the mountains, 50s to start the day, so you may be grabbing for the long sleeves. Cool weather will be the big story on Saturday as temperatures struggle to get out of the 60s. Quick look at the tropics, just breaking in the tropics right now. We have Tropical Storm Beta, which is part of the Greek alphabet. It's the second letter because that's how it's gone this year. We've used up all the hurricane names, so now they're being named after Greek alphabet letters. So Beta is going to be heading toward the Texas Gulf Coast. We'll talk more about the tropics and the other storms out in the Atlantic coming up. But first, let's head to Chris with a check of the roads.
Kendra, thanks. Anderson, Greenville, and Spartanburg are the hot spots right now for accidents. So we have one at 28 Bypass, Pyramid Road, Jackson Road, Highway 28 at Whitner Street, and also following another one at Whitehall Road around Highway 24. Greenville County has eased off a little bit, not quite as many accidents around. 85 south at exit 53 and Lawrence Road around the Ackley Road area, and we're also following Lawrence Road at Ackley Road. That's the one we just talked about a moment ago. Also over in Spartanburg County, still working 85 south at 83, 85 Business South cleared at 2, and also at US 29 and 110 Church Street and Burke Avenue has cleared in Spartanburg too. Multiple vehicles involved, a minor fender bender on 85. They moved it out of the left-hand lane. Highway patrols there. It's not causing any delay on the interstate or the exit on to exit 57. Cody?
All right, Chris, thanks so much. Talking COVID-19, the latest number is in this afternoon from DHEC, 766 new cases with 21 additional deaths. We have now surpassed 3,000 deaths in South Carolina. And mask ordinances, well, they're giving some numbers on those, showing that areas that have issued mask ordinances saw up to 66% decrease in cases in the months after the mask ordinance went into effect. So DHEC putting it out there again, masks are working in South Carolina. Well, happening tomorrow, Tiger Town will soon be painted orange and purple as the Tigers take on the Citadel for their first home game. But there are a lot of things you should know before game day. So if you're one of the 19,000 that got a lucky ticket, you will be able to go inside. You'll have to have a face mask on at all times unless you're drinking or eating. There are markers and signage placed throughout the stadium to remind you to practice social distancing. Large crowds, not going to be appropriate there, not going to be allowed. There will be assigned entry times at entry gates. Seating you could see is spaced out as well. You saw those seats there. Clemson's game against the Citadel tomorrow at 4 p.m. And Kendra says the weather looking pretty good for that game. So we'll check in with her in a few minutes. Well, today, the South Carolina Supreme Court heard the first set of arguments in a lawsuit over Governor McMaster's Safe Grants program. You remember, the lawsuit claims the governor is violating state law by using public money for private and charter schools. So the governor wants to use $32 million of federal CARES Act funding to create scholarships for low-income parents who want full-time in-person learning at a private school. The governor and other lawmakers have been critical of public schools that choose hybrid or remote learning during the pandemic. Now, a judge has temporarily blocked the program until a ruling is made. And of course, when that happens, we'll let you know. Over in Pickens County, the school district is laying out the attendance plans for the next 6 weeks. Now, this covers classes October 5th through November 13th. Students from 3K through 2nd grade will have in-person learning all 6 weeks. Grades 3 through 5 will have in-person learning 5 of these 6 weeks, with remote learning the week of November 2nd. Now, grades 6 through 12 will be in person for 4 weeks, with 2 weeks of remote learning. And just in to us from Pickens County, they are suspending all football practices for 2 weeks at Liberty High School. We're told this is due to COVID cases on the team. The district says all close contacts have been notified and games will be rescheduled after the 2 weeks. Well, we are the school station, and for the very latest, you can head to our Fox Carolina News app. There is an entire section dedicated to everything regarding schools and COVID-19 across the Carolinas, Northeast Georgia, and our Western North Carolina counties. Well, storm cleanup just beginning down along the Gulf Coast after they saw catastrophic flooding from Hurricane Sally.
Now, time for Fox Carolina weather. Weather Rate certified most accurate local forecast.
Well, if you're heading to the socially distanced game, Citadel at Clemson, temperatures will be in the upper 60s. You might want to bring a little blanket to put over you as the sun is going down. It's going to start to get pretty cool outside. At least if you're a wimp like me, you might need that anyway. Otherwise, it's going to feel like football weather for all across our area and much of the southeast too. Fox Radar 3D is clear right now, and temperatures ranging in the low 80s to upper 70s for the upstate. Feeling pretty good in the mountains. Cool air is making its way through now, so we'll feel it tomorrow. A little bit tonight. We'll get down to 60, so cooler than the last couple of nights have been, with some lingering clouds. Some clouds in the mountains that will stick with us as we go throughout the day. So here's a look at tomorrow's forecast. A struggle to warm up. Look at this. We're going to make it into the upper 60s, and then that's it. That's what we typically wake up to. Yeah, it's going to be a very cool day. So you may stay in long sleeves most of the day, and the breeze too will make it feel a touch cooler than that. So on the Carolina Sky Meter, this one was tough. I gave it a 7 since it might not feel so great to you at first, a little shock to the system, but I know many of you have just been wishing for that fall weather, and that fall feel will truly be here Saturday. And then Saturday night, look at this, 40s and low 50s, could even find some upper 30s at our high mountain locations. So that's going to spur along that fall color. Be ready to bundle up on Saturday night, Sunday morning. Tropical storm Beta, second letter of the Greek alphabet. This is going to be moving toward Texas, going toward Tuesday and Wednesday. They'll feel some of the effects. That shows you how crazy 2020 has been. We got through all the hurricane names. In fact, Teddy was one of the last ones here. It's a major hurricane. That's going to move close to Bermuda. And then Wilfred developed, and that is going to be kind of petering out over the next few days over the Atlantic. So no worries with that. So then we got to the Greek alphabet. We've got subtropical storm Alpha. That started it all, moving in on Portugal currently. And then we have Beta that came afterwards. And I'm sure we'll get a few more as we go through the next few weeks. Now take a look at our forecast. Nice and quiet. In fact, highs will be in the 60s and 70s. It's what the fall lovers have been wishing for. Look at the first day of fall. Mostly sunny and highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. We'll have a few extra clouds late week, maybe a few showers by Friday. Of course, you'll want to head to foxcarolina.com for your interactive radar as well as hour-by-hour forecast. Now let's head to Chris to check in on our roads.
Yeah, we're going to start in Anderson, where we have a couple of new accidents here at Piermondary Road at Jackson Street, another one on Whitner Street along with Highway 28 into Greenville County. Things are calming down just a little bit. Police activity around Ackley Road and Lawrence Road, 85 south at exit 53. I'm also getting a traffic alert here in the East Gant area. This is on Whitehorse Road, right around Augusta Road. We've had several accidents in that area today. And Spartanburg County has calmed down a little bit. Rainbow Lake Road at Highway 9 along with US 29 and Abernathy Highway at Franklin Avenue. Our biggest backups right now still are at 85 at Pelham Road, south on the right, north on the left. Starting to see a pretty good slowdown there toward 385 and back to exit 54 at Pelham Road. We'll have another update in a few minutes. Join our Waze traffic team. Be a part of that by going to the Waze groups. Look for Fox Carolina Traffic and join the team. Cody.
All right, Chris, thanks. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. We have breaking news just into our newsroom. Many of you reached out to us about a large scene on Arch Street. Here's what we've just been told. The sheriff's office and coroner are there investigating after human remains were found by a person walking across from 7 Arch Street. So that area is shut down. No information's been given on anything about the investigation. This happening within literally the last hour. We have a crew headed to that scene and we'll bring it to you live as we get there. So stay with us. We hope to get there by the end of the hour. We'll have more information inside our Fox Carolina News app. Well, we're learning more about a ransomware attack on Greenville Technical College's campus. We've been following this story for a couple of weeks now and finally got some information. The school says they were hit on August 27th, but again, we're just now getting it today with a data breach. The college says that the attackers were able to get some information, including student social security numbers, personal information. We're talking some credit card information. The school is still investigating the attack. We do know the FBI was involved, and they will let students know as soon as possible what information was stolen, but it sounds like it's still a pretty fluid situation over at Greenville Tech.